5%, okay. So we're going to factor all four of these problems, and we're going to do it with the guess and check method. So remember, the guess and check method is where you know that if it factors, it's going to break up into linear polynomials, and whatever this is has to go here and here. So I know x has to go there and there, and this goes here and here. Your last has to go there and there, so that your inside and your outside equals that middle one. So what are we going to do here? We're going to take 2, and there's only really two ways to break up positive 2, either 2 and 1 or negative 2 and negative 1. And obviously if you put 2 and 1 here, that's not going to make a negative 3, because the outside plus the inside is going to be 2x plus 1x, which is positive 3. But if you make them both negative instead, which we should have done in the first place, and the more you do this, the more you'll recognize it, negative 2 and negative 1, that's going to break into negative 2x minus 1x, which is negative 3x. And so that works. And you can check it, and you always should check it, by in your head foiling it back out. X times x is x squared. X times negative 1 is negative x. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. And when you add all those together, you get that right there. So it sure does work. Again, that's just foiling it out, because that's all factoring of this type is reverse foiling. So let's try it with this one. How can I break up x squared? Got to be x and x. How can I break up negative 20? Well, it could be negative 20 and 1, positive 1, but that wouldn't be anywhere close to negative 1x, right? Or so that's not it. Or it could be negative 10 and positive 2, but that wouldn't give you negative 1x. Or it could be, what else could it be? Negative 4 and positive 5, but that would actually give you positive 1x, and we want a negative 1x, so just flip them. How about negative 5 and positive 4? And sure enough, that works. So again, I was guessing and checking, so now I'm going to guess. I'm going to put those in there. It was negative 5 and positive 4. And when you FOIL that back out to check it, x squared, that's your first. Your outside is 4x. Your inside is negative 5x. And your last is negative 20. And sure enough, that gives you x squared minus x minus 20. So that worked. Let's try this one. Let's do that a little bit quicker this time. The more you do, the better you get. You know that's x and x. And in here, you're just thinking what multiplies to 21. Well, 21 and 1, or 3 and 7. Or negative 3 and negative 7, and because that's a negative, you know it's got to be negative 3 and negative 7. And when you check it mentally in your head, x squared, negative 3x, negative 7x adds to negative 10x, plus 21 is your last term, and that worked. How about this one right here? Well, it's got to be x and x. 10 can break up as 5 and 2, or 10 and 1. There's no other way I can break it up. Well, that's a positive 8. If I go 5 and 2, does that give me 8? Nope, the middle is going to be 7x. How about if I go 10 and 1? Is that going to give me 8? Nope, it's going to be 11x. So guess what? This doesn't factor. Sometimes you have a quadratic that doesn't factor, and that's okay. They don't have to factor. It's kind of like saying 24 factors lots of different ways, but 7 doesn't factor at all because it's prime. This is a prime polynomial is what that is. That's a number that can't factor anymore. Okay, so you would just say DNF if they wanted you to factor, or you'd call it prime.